Hello, everybody. This is Brian Ankney with AutoSuccess magazine. I appreciate you all taking the time to join us today for this webinar. Today, our topic is Learn How to Think with a Google Premier Partner. And my guest today is Joe High. He's the Senior Vice President of Team Velocity. Actually, before the webinar, he and I were sharing that we've been working together for almost over 15 years. So we've got a lot of history. And a couple things I'd like to tell you before we get started with the webinar and I hand the reins over to Joe. First of all, if you have questions during the webinar, please type them into the question box. If you're using a laptop, a tablet, you're going to have a pane on the right side of your screen, and near the bottom it says questions. You hit the plus sign, it'll open up. You can type in a question. Now, if you're not on a laptop or a tablet, if you're on a smart device, a smartphone or an Apple, all of them work a little bit differently, but you're going to have either a header, a footer, or a picture frame that goes around your screen, and somewhere on there you'll see a question mark. You click that, and it will open up the place for you to type in your questions. Now, getting out of that place is a little bit tricky. Some of them you can swipe to get away. Some of them you have to look for them. It looks like a desktop monitor, and that's the button that you'll click to go back to the webinar. Now, if by chance you somehow get logged out of the webinar, the link and the number that you use to join us right now, it will work to rejoin the webinar. Now, one last thing before we get rolling today is AutoSuccess Webinars, the group on Facebook. If you're not a member of that group yet, please go there and join. It serves a few functions. One, you can interact with myself and the AutoSuccess staff. You can ask us to, you can suggest topics, you can suggest speakers. You can also interact with our speakers, but most importantly is you can interact with each other. All the people in this webinar today are going to take down a page or two of notes, and they're going to have maybe 5, maybe 50 steps to try to implement something new to improve their dealership. And as you work through that, you're going to enjoy successes and you're going to suffer failures. And I invite you to share that with each other, so we can all help each other become more successful. With that being said, Joe, please take us away.
Great, thank you, Brian. Brian, can you confirm you can see my screen still? Just to double check we're good to go?
Yep, I can see your screen. It says Learn How to Think with a Google Premier Partner.
Great, so I'm talking about the right thing then. Well, thank you everybody for the time today. We're going to dive right in here and get started. So as you can see, the title here is Learn How to Think with a Google Premier Partner. A little play on words here if you're familiar with Google at all. Think with Google is a great little program they've got, and we're going to leverage that to talk about our discussion today. So my name's Joe High, as Brian said, Senior Vice President over at Team Velocity Marketing. I'm responsible for our kind of production and execution components of the business, including our direct mail, email, traditional media, and as it's relevant to today, our digital media. So I'm going to dive right in here. The agenda. First, we're going to give you a little bit of information about who we are, what we do at Team Velocity Marketing. That's going to be relevant to why we go as deep as we do into the digital marketing space and why we have the success that we do. We're going to talk a little bit about the Premier and Elite Partnership programs that Google and Bing have. Then we're going to get into the meat of this, which is thinking with Google, that incorporates a component of test my ads with Google, testing my site with Google. We'll get into the results of working with Google and Bing, as well as then kind of how it works and why it works. As we go, if anybody has any questions, feel free to chime in. I think you have to raise your hand on the GoToMeeting webinar here or type a message or do whatever. And I know Brian and team over at AutoSuccess are monitoring that as well. And I will be looking for some volunteers here. So if you're a dealer out there that is looking to get to kind of dive in and see what's going on with your store in particular, please feel free. And a little bit about myself real quick here that anybody who's on from our company already knows. I don't hold many punches here. I'm pretty straightforward and kind of call it as I see it. So I'm excited to answer any questions and kind of give you a little bit of a no-nonsense response. There's not quite enough of that out there in the space today. So I'm going to start off. I got a real short video here, a little bit about Team Velocity, kind of tells you what we do, how we do it, to kind of tease up where we're going to go from there. So enjoy quick video.
Team Velocity Marketing has 300 automotive experts located throughout the U.S., with our state-of-the-art headquarters located in Washington, D.C. We also have offices in Miami that serve as our brainstorming and creative design center. We have built our own in-house 30,000 square foot Xerox model installation printing facilities in the U.S. that produce more than 3 million custom sales and service communications per month for our clients, complete with a fleet of trucks that deliver to the United States Post Office 24 hours per day. Our in-house services also include a complete array of digital advertising services, creative design, client support, web-based and on-site training, and our technology development staff that create our own proprietary set of products and services to the industry. Our team has served 16 manufacturers, 12 regional ad associations, 76 of the top 100 dealers, and over 4,000 dealerships worldwide, including many of the leading retailers in North America. We are premier SMB partners with Google and elite partners with Bing, and our team of associates at Team Velocity Marketing is delivering a fully integrated suite of solutions that allow our clients to work with one strategic partner in all the areas that are proven to deliver them a measurable return on their marketing investment.
All right. So you can see there is a difference. That's going to be a big component about what we talk about today. And so, as we mentioned in the video, and very important to this, Team Velocity is a Google Premier and Bing Elite partner. There's hundreds of companies out there in the automotive space doing marketing, especially digital marketing. And it's really hard, and I know when you all are in the dealerships there that you've got somebody beating on your door every day, and they've all got the greatest thing in the world, and you all have a tough time kind of weeding that out. And that's a big part of why we're leaning on Google's tools today and Bing's tools today to help you guys kind of trust where the spend is actually going to come from. The bulk of your digital advertising spend, 80 to 90% of your digital advertising spend is likely going to be with Google or Bing. That's why we want to use Google and Bing to educate and arm you guys with the right information. There's 1,000 of me out there that'll tell you all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to lean on letting the place where your money is going to go speak on our behalf. So there's 15 companies out there that are either Google Premier partners or Bing Elite partners in the automotive channel buckets for each of those companies. There's only 5 of us out there that are both Google Premier and Bing Elite partners. Team Velocity, CDK, Dealer.com, Haystack, those 2 are obviously related now, and then Showroom Logic is the last one. The way we look at it, though, you've got one company who is a Elite and Premier certified company that is a full-service marketing company. CDK is obviously in the DMS space, along with a couple others. Dealer.com is in the website space, and they dabble in some other stuff. Haystack, kind of the same in the digital world. And Showroom's very heavy, obviously, on the digital marketing side of things. We do everything, as the About Us video showed, direct mail, email, TV, radio, print, digital, obviously, point of sale, you name it. So we really get into the weeds on everything. And a big part of why I showed that video was to show that we do it all in-house. And without doing it in-house, you really can't get to the level of detail you need to execute effectively. So I'm going to dive in to the bulk of this now. I just want to give you a little insight around us and really get into this Think with Google program. Think with Google, I'm going to show you in just a second. There's a website, thinkwithgoogle.com. Great resource to go to. When you go in there, there's a lot of tools. I'm going to show you in a second. But 2 of them that we're going to focus on today, you can find by simply Googling, or Bing. We love Bing too. Test my ads with Google or test my site with Google. And that's going to bring you up 2 of Google's tools. One is Google Ad Preview. The other one is a Google Speed Test for your site, primarily focused on mobile. Both very important components of your digital advertising. So I'm going to hop off of the PowerPoint here for a second. We're going to go live and just kind of go through some of this stuff with everybody. So first things first, we're going to go to thinkwithgoogle.com. And I know since everybody's seeing my screen, somebody's going to give me a hard time later. I got some great recipes up top here. Buffalo chicken cheese balls, by the way. That's the place to start. So before I get a hard time from anybody, I love them. They're there. I own it. Thinkwithgoogle.com. Here's the site. Number of tools on here. I recommend going to a couple different things. First of all, micro moments. You can't go to a meeting with Google right now without seeing a micro moments video. If you dive into the micro moments, there's some great stuff here. It talks about how people are searching, what Google is doing to change the way people are searching and to adapt to what people are doing, how to win, etc. Lots of great content on here. Another great component on here is the tools section. If I go to the tools real quick here, you'll see Google Trends, shopping insights, there's some customer journeys, lots of great stuff in here. There's a lot of information. As big as the automotive industry is, there's a lot of great information on automotive marketing in particular throughout here. You can also sign up to receive, I believe it's a weekly email that has some great stuff in it around thinking with Google. So that's just where I want to start, kind of give you a little bit of where we're coming from and what we're going to be focusing on today. So as I mentioned, thinking with Google, we're going to start out by testing my ads with Google. So as you can see, test my ads with Google. It's going to bring you to Google, and we're going to go right here. The first organic result, ad preview tool, Google AdWords. And so I'd love to go live. We're live. We're not hiding behind anything here. I'd love to go live with a dealer as well. So I know Brian from AutoSuccess, you indicated the dealers have a way of raising their hand. If I can't get a volunteer, not a big deal. I'll do a local search or something. But if there's a dealer out there that would like us to pull up your search results, kind of analyze them online today and live. Granted, sometimes Google calls your baby ugly. Be aware of that. But if it's beautiful, I'll be the first person to tell you that you're doing a great job and to keep up the good work. So if there's anybody out there that would like to volunteer, raise your hand through the webinar, send a chat. I don't need much information from you, but give you a second to take a crack at that.
Chevrolet of Everett? Looks like Klein Davis from Chevrolet of Everett. Klein, your mic is live now. Please say hello.
Awesome. Chevrolet of Everett, E-V-E-R-E-T-T. Did I get it right?
You got to spell Chevrolet right, though.
I got fat fingers. It's from eating all those buffalo chicken balls. All right, I got it here. So I'm just going to grab 98203 is your zip code, correct?
Correct.
All right. So all I'm going to do, and this is a little tool that we've built on our end as well. I'm going to go through and populate some stuff about the dealership here. And at the end of this, it's going to spit out a nice little PDF that I can send to you. But it's also going to kind of show the whole process that we go through. So I'm going to fill this out real quick here, and we'll get the ball rolling. I think you'll love what we do here. So Chevrolet of Everett. I'm assuming you sell some Chevrolets. I'm just going to take a stab in the dark and say it's in Everett. And what was your name again?
Klein, C-L-I-N-E, Davis, D-A-V-I-S.
All right, I'll tell you what, I'm going to refrain from grabbing the rest of your info here because I know we get some nice competitors on the line, and I'm sure they're all dying to send you emails after this. I'll get your info from Brian and shoot it over to you. What is the URL for your store? Let's see here. I'm sure I can find it. ChevroletofEverett.com?
You got it.
All right. Does that look like your website?
That's it.
Awesome. All right. So let's go back in here. And most of this is just to populate a pretty little PDF for you later. But any chance, and it's not a big deal if you don't have this information, but any chance you have information on your current spend, any of the fees you're paying for paid search today, and even better if you have any performance metrics like click-through rate and cost per click.
Paid search is $50 to $50 per month plus the administrative fee.
Any idea how you're paying? Is it a flat fee, a percentage, a combo of the two?
Flat fee.
Okay. What's any idea what that is?
$1,200.
$1,200. All right. So you don't have a percentage. And any idea on the performance metrics? Any click-through rate or cost per click?
The cost per click was right around $2.17, I believe. I review it weekly.
Okay. And any idea on click-through rate?
We're above 70. 72, 73.
How about 7? 72 would be record-breaking, and I'm going to come work for you.
Well, then maybe it's 7, but I thought it was 72. The metrics I look at, we use Showroom Logic.
Okay.
And we go through our
well, I'll tell you what.
Okay.
I'm not going to put anything in here for now, and when this all plays out at the math at the end, you'll see exactly how it works, and we'll dive in from there. But if you have a report saying 72%, you're going to want to call Showroom. But Showroom does good work. I'm not going to. They'll give you good stuff. So
page that goes to their landing page and then reverts over to us, which I don't know how effective that is or non-effective, but after working with Haystack, going to Showroom, they created a separate landing page rather than directing them to our inventory at our site. They found that the conversion rate was higher. Yeah,
I would support that logic. It's all a matter of the relevance of the ad, and we're going to dive right into that. So that's great information. And I, assuming their sites are set up well, then that's a good approach. So I'm going to just dive into some of these searches here. Get this over here where I know what I'm doing. So your zip code, I believe I still got that.
98203.
There we go. So I'm just in Google Ad Preview. As you can see, all you have to do in here, everybody can do this whenever they want. Sign in, put a simple zip code in here, and then we're just going to go with a search phrase. So let's start out with your brand. We're just going to do a quick search to see what shows up. Man, I'm missing that T. Chevrolet Everett. Boom. And so all this is going to do is it's going to show exactly what happens in Google when somebody does your search. Now, the reason we do this in Ad Preview and not in Google itself, first of all, I'm located in Northern Virginia. Store is obviously located in Washington. Not going to get remotely the same results, especially when it comes to paid search, unless somebody's doing a really bad job. The other component here is...
You did get the same. Cars Chevrolet at the top. Because he's in Ad Preview. Oh, he's in Ad Preview. Okay, gotcha. It's going to do that here.
Yeah, so what we're going to see here is the paid results, the organic results, et cetera. Now, one thing that's important about Google Ad Preview is showing you the raw results, as if we've never done this search before. A lot of times, dealers will do their own searches. There's two kind of bad components of that, and it's a good best practice I'll share real quick here. You don't want to search for your own stuff in Google. First of all, it learns what you're doing. So if you're signed into Google because you've got a Gmail account or Chrome or anything else, it learns what you're doing. So if you keep searching for the same things and never click on it, it assumes that you don't like it anymore. So don't call your vendors up and give them a hard time because you're not showing up anymore. It's because you're not clicking on it and Google's trying to improve the search result for you. The other thing is it can actually negatively impact the performance of the campaigns. So if you keep showing up in your searches but don't click on it, you're lowering your click-through rate, which ultimately impacts your quality score and eventually your cost per click. It's going to take a little while, but it is relevant because you're basically saying, hey, I'm searching for Chevrolet of Everett, and I don't think this first ad is relevant to me, and Google's going to penalize you because they want to serve the most relevant ads as often as possible. So right out of the gate here, diving into your scenario again here, cars.Chevrolet of Everett. I'm assuming the cars dot is the Showroom Logic landing page. Did you mention? Okay, perfect. So you are showing an ad here. I'm going to do a quick screenshot. You'll see kind of the gist of what I'm doing to build out the. We're just going to go ahead and grab this here. And I'm going to build you a nice little deck here of everything we go through so that you can see all the results and analyze them later. So brand ad showing up, quick review of that. You've got a phone number, that's great. Online reviews, comparison tools, quotes and more, visit today, people matter, no stress pricing. You got the models listed, pre-owned inventory, you got good links, good site links there. So that's a good brand ad. No complaints about that. Let's dive into some models that you sell. So you guys are in Washington. What's the most popular vehicle you sell?
Be the Silverado.
I think everything west of Ohio, the answer is a truck. So I'm going to search for 2017 Chevrolet Silverado. All right, let's see where we show up. So I'm assuming RoyRobinsChevy.com, what is that? Lee Johns, Chaplins. Are these all competitors of you guys?
Yes.
Let's see if we can find you guys down here. Dwayne, Chevrolet of Everett. So here you guys are down here. So this is your paid ad. Technically, from a paid perspective, 1, 2, 3, 4 at the top. We come to the organic ads, 5, 6. So you're showing up in position 6. You probably don't have to be told, but there's not going to be a lot of people clicking down at the bottom of position 6 on a desktop. And then the other thing I want to really analyze here is the ad that's showing up. So I searched for a Chevy Silverado, 2017 in particular, and I got an ad back. The way I like to look at this is that the search is like a consumer walking in or calling in the phone and saying, hey, I'm interested in, or do you have any 2017 Chevy Silverados? And the response is your ad. And so your ad says, Chevrolet of Everett, get the Chevy Silverado. Great that you reference the vehicle. At Chevrolet of Everett, view our Silverado offers and inventory. So there's more that I think we'd like to say there. I'm going to do a quick snippet of this one, though, and drag that in, and then we'll dive into a little bit more even.
Okay.
All right, give me 1 second here. Yeah. So I'm going to quickly flip over before I change my search to mobile, and this is where it's becoming increasingly important. Just about every store out there you're going to find has exceeded mobile searches now over top of desktop searches. So flipping to mobile in Google Ad Preview lets me see the view on the mobile phone. So we'll see here we get Chevy, which, by the way, is extremely aggressive right now, the Tier 1 and Tier 2 level. In fact, I'm going to show you some stuff. I'd love to get some of the dealers out there reaching out to Chevy to show a couple of things that are being searched for that are bad. But fortunately, you guys are a showroom, and you don't fall into that bucket. But Chevrolet.com is number 1, Roy Robbins 2, Speedway number 3. So you can see that's where the paid ads stop on the mobile here at the top. Then you're getting into actual imagery and information about the vehicle that Google serves up as these new little pods they've developed. Now we're getting into special edition trucks, heavy duty. This is Edmunds.com, Car and Driver, Cars.com, KBB, U.S. News World Report. This is not different than every Motor Trend. So one of the components that kind of drives me nuts, I told you guys at the beginning, I'd like to call it this. The industry's out there saying a lot of nonsense. There's people out there saying Google's just a phone book. You're paying too much money to open the phone book. Paid search is a waste of time. It's a bunch of nonsense because they think organic gets everything accomplished. If the bulk of the traffic is on a phone, and this is what the bulk of the traffic sees when they search for a Chevy Silverado in your zip code, then you don't exist to the bulk of the traffic. So that's just nonsense. So as you can see, we've got to get up here into the top couple ads to at least be seen. In this case, there's 3 ads. Google will rotate. Sometimes they show 1, sometimes they show 4, anywhere in between. But this is the key component is
getting beat on the spend.
You're getting beat on what? I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
If I look at the Google Analytics, am I getting beat out on the spend? In other words, there's an opportunity where I need to throw more money at it so that I drive myself higher in that search.
Yeah, quite possibly. So that's impression share. So if you go into AdWords and look at your impression share, that'll give you a good idea of where you want to be. So I'm glad you brought it up. I'll use this as time to quickly talk about that. Impression share, I'm going to tell you, you want to float somewhere in the 80 to 85% range on Google and Bing. And I say and Bing, very important. Bing is a very good network for searches. It is generally a cheaper search to get a very similar click. And a lot of times, to be honest, my mom is the one who uses Bing because it's installed by default with Windows. So you get people who have money, who need to buy cars, et cetera, and honestly, who are going to just click on whatever's there. It works well. What you've got to be careful with, and I'm not calling any vendors at the table today by name, but there are vendors who will buy very low quality syndicated search partners through Bing just to hype impressions. So if your vendor's out there and bringing you impressions to the table as their metric of success, slap them in the face with it, kick them out the door, whatever your fun thing to kick them out of the dealership is, but they are not looking out for your best interest because they're talking about impressions, because those impressions are not getting clicked. It's lowering your click-through rate and increases your CPC. I can go on for hours. If they're talking about search and they bring up impressions, then that's bad. So, yeah, to answer your question, it could be because of the need for spend, but there is a component of overspending. I'm going to get into that with our bid and budget management system that we utilize. It's a combination of spend and the maximum bid you're willing to pay to get you into a good position. So in this case, obviously, if you're not there at all, you've either run out of money for the day, which is a bad indicator of spend management, or you don't have enough money in general for the month, et cetera. But yeah, it's something to look at. It requires more than just a generic response. But certainly, if you want to show up for a Chevy Silverado at 2:30 on a Tuesday in the middle of the month, then you likely do need to spend more money on it. But showroom's the one to call there, or I know a guy that can help you out on our end as well. So let me go back. So I'm going to do a Silverado search. Let's take a search for a less popular Chevy. What's your a lower selling model? Camaro. All right.
Colorado.
All right. You can go with whatever you want here. It's the beauty of going live. All right, so Chevy Colorado. I'm coming back to the desktop view. It just gives you a little bit more information to look at. So Blaine Lane, Chevrolet.com is number one. Roy Robbins, again, newcars.com. They love spending money to get your traffic and probably try to sell it back to you afterwards. And you're not showing up at the bottom in this case. So fairly common. A lot of vendors will buy the core vehicles because they're going to spend the money, on the vehicles that you're going to go and search for. That way you don't yell at them at the end of the day for not showing up for a Silverado, for example. But not showing up at all for the Colorado, top or bottom. And again, just to point out the importance of being there from a paid search perspective, there isn't a single dealer in the organic. I mean, I don't know if Google has just recently made a change to go heavy on these rating sites. I'm guessing they might have, but there's not a single dealer on the whole first page outside of paid search. So that whole phone book nonsense that people are spewing these days is getting even more ridiculous. So again, I'm just going to take a quick screenshot of this, drop it off into over into our little tool here, and move on. So the next thing I want to do, and I already know what I'm going to get if I go Colorado. So I'm going to go back to the Silverado since I know you had an ad there, but I'm going to throw a lease in here as well. You know what? While I'm here, notice the other results that showed up. This is the competition for you. Search for the Colorado, and you get this is a great result. Great fuel efficiency. I'm guessing there's not great fuel efficiency on the Colorado. Maybe in comparison to other trucks, yes, but trucks aren't known for great fuel efficiency. If we go down to Roy Robbins, their response to that Chevy Colorado search: great selection, service and parts, huge show, financing available. By the way, they have a bunch of services, which have nothing to do with the fact that I searched for a Colorado. So this relevance of the ad is killing them. They're paying an awful lot to be in position 1 and 2 with an ad that's not terribly relevant. Now, I'm going to make everything even less relevant for everybody's results by adding the word lease at the end of the search up here. When I do that, we get Chevy, who shows up again. We get the same, Roy Robbins. They're spending a fortune. I can guarantee that, but they're showing up a lot, and they're showing up in good positions. But again, I searched for lease. At least they do say check out our lease special, so they recognize I did that. But again, they're just telling me about lease deals. They've got a whole bunch of different stores, and they're talking about certified pre-owned. I searched for 2017. So again, that relevance of the ad to what I searched for is lacking. And I'm going to show you how that impacts everything a little bit. Lee Johnson would like me to look at their current inventory and offers, which is great. Not a lot of detail there. And let's shoot down to the bottom, see if you guys show up. And you did. So save on Chevy Silverado. We get the same ad again. See special offers, view inventory now on Chevy Silverado 1500 truck. So well, I'm not even going to take a snippet of that. That's all right. So I think you get the gist of where you're showing up on popular vehicles, less popular vehicles, regular searches, lease searches. One thing I don't recommend, and I'm probably telling the competition stuff that they don't know, but I don't recommend this as a search, Chevrolet Silverado. There's no intent there. So, for example, if you're not showing up for the Colorado at all, then why on earth would you want to show up without any purchase intent? So this can be searching for people, and here's the downside of going live. See, Google doesn't even think it's a good search. With no intent on the search phrase to buy, you're getting people who, for example, on a Camaro, are just looking to download a picture of it to put on their desktop as a screensaver and things like that. So you got to be careful with that. I don't recommend getting into those kind of search terms. Make sure the search terms that your vendor is buying for you have purchase intent. They have a year on them. They have a trim in them. They have the term lease or buy or something like that that shows that there's interest in that. And AdWords here has decided to stop playing nice. Let's try to refresh that and get back to. All right, so the next thing I'll look at, we're at Chevrolet, is on the service side of things. So we'll throw in Chevrolet oil change, see what we get. Now, do you know if you're doing any sort of service marketing, that's generally a dealer decision on how much you need to drive your service lane?
Oil changes for life.
All right, well, let's see if you got all kinds of competition. Chevy's trying to sell oil changes for you, which is interesting. Jiffy Lube, Oil Can Henry's, Pennzoil, you got all those guys. No organic listing, which, by the way, is exactly why showroom's telling you that you need to have a separate site because the organic stuff not getting it done. Sears, Jiffy Lube. So you guys, from a paid perspective, are not going up on the first page on something like a Chevrolet oil change. And you can throw in, city names in here as well, and there's a chance it could change things. Oil change Everett might do something, but yeah. So you did at least get organically served here. Now that's primarily because we've got Chevrolet Everett in the name. That's the name of the store. So it would be real bad if you didn't show up with that. But again, nothing on the paid side of things. So I'll do one more snippet of that. And just about be done with the snipping on this process.
Looks like you've got another one down below there, Chevrolet of Everett service appointment form. And you have
you've got two different.
We've actually got two more positions below that.
Yeah, that's interesting that Google has served up two organic ads for the same domain. 3, 4. Then you have an Everett Chevrolet NWA, I'm guessing North Washington.
No, they're in Tennessee.
Oh, okay. Well, that kind of makes sense from an organic listing. That's interesting that you've been able to serve up that many different ads in there. So that's another Google change that they must have recently thrown out here. But from an organic spot, that's great that you're getting that. If you take Everett out, it's an indication, unfortunately, that it's not matching based on the market that's being searched in. So that would be something to talk to your web provider about, getting some of the keywords and some of that data baked into your site a little bit more to account for just oil changes. But so that gives me, go ahead.
Can we see that on mobile?
Sure. And generally, the only thing that's going to change on mobile is if a vendor is executing what they call mobile bid adjustments. Some vendors, including us, when we do this, will increase bids to rank a little bit higher on mobile. As you can see, you're getting, in this case, you got 4 ads on mobile. Sometimes you only get 2. And so you can ensure that you're there. You don't get ads at the bottom very often. In this case, you're getting them all over the place. But
Let me ask you a question. I'm sitting here doing the same search on the phone and getting different results than you.
Are you doing it through Ad Preview?
No, I'm just going to Google and typing in the same words as you are and getting different results. So are you showing?
Yeah, so you'll get the results based on your history. So are you signed into Google? If you look up in the top right-hand corner, does it have like a little picture of you or a little icon or in Chrome?
Nope.
Because what it's going to do is it's going to, so if you see here, for example, I'm signed in, Chrome will remember some of the search phrases, but your computer will also maintain some of that as well. So that's why I was saying if you do it through Ad Preview, it's the equivalent of a new consumer coming and shopping. If you're doing it through your browser on Google.com, there's two things that are happening there. One, Google's trying to remember what you've done on that computer, or if you're logged into that browser, et cetera, and serve the ads accordingly. And Google also rotates the stuff. They will, you know, if I hit preview again, you can get different results. So Google's constantly shifting the results around within the result. And you can see that a lot better, actually, if I go over to desktop. You can watch the stuff change a little bit easier.
Okay, I was just curious.
Chevy, Jiffy Lube, Oil Can, Sears. So Sears, there you go. So now Sears isn't in the top 4 anymore. Pennzoil came up and kicked Sears out. So Google rotates them. They test who's performing and how well they're performing, and you know, every search result has to be a little bit different. The last thing I wanted to account for real quick was used cars. Do you have a used car that you know is on your lot? I'm guessing maybe like a 2015 Chevy Silverado. Fairly safe to say you got one of them?
Yeah, sure we do.
All right. Let's preview that real quick here and see what we get for a used car search. So Roy Robinson again, get the best pickup coverage in America. Internet value price. So nothing really speaking to that search. Chaplin's is at least indicating they've got a 15.
I have a 15 Silverado. Do it 2015 Tahoe. I'm sorry. 14 Tahoe. 2014 okay. Tahoe.
All right, so Tahoe, we get GM certified KBB on the ads there. Only got 2 ads at the top, no ads at the bottom. Let's give you another fair shake with another preview, see if we get more ads. We're not getting anything other than those 2. So that depends. A lot of different people will have different results for the pre-owned.
Let's do a 2015 Colorado.
Okay.
2015.
ShufflesonChev.com's got one. They got a 16. Car Gurus is the next ad, and we get a Dwayne Lane at the bottom pitching that they got new Chevy Colorados, which is another no-no on that front. So I'm not seeing used car ads. They might be there. They might be limited to certain vehicles. There's all kinds of other strategy. I'm not kind of trying to take a crack there as much as just indicate some of the stuff that we should be looking for. So that's all I really wanted to go through on the ad preview side. I'll come back to what is relevant about that in a minute. The next thing I'm going to do is another great site that's a Think with Google tool. And we can get there simply by going to and searching Test My Site with Google. And you'll see the first 2 things. I'll be nice to Google and not click on their ad, but testmysite.thinkwithgoogle.com brings you right here. So we're going to go and grab your web address again here real quick. Here's an important thing. There's one I'm just going to call them sketchy vendor that has tried to game this system. When you run the search for your site over on this site here, make sure you see a picture of your website in the results. There is a vendor in the website space that has read that the result here is coming from things with Google's speed test, and they deliver back an all-text version that delivers perfect scores and gives you some nonsense about DNS entries and hosting across the country with, I won't even get into the technical nonsense, but it's nonsense. They're just gaming the system because their sites are slow. Fortunately for you, you are not using one of those companies. So you can see you get your website in this preview. This is what I was talking about. If you don't see your website in these little pictures that they provide, there's a company out there that's hosing you. Unfortunately, this is what the fault of the site is. You're saying is something wrong? You're good in this. Well, you're good in the fact that it is being served up. They're actually testing your site. The other vendor, you would see a plain text, like it literally just looks like a Word doc over here in this screen capture on that laptop and the mobile phone. That if you zoom in, gives you all kinds of nonsense about their website company and why Google doesn't know what they're doing. Basically, is what they're trying to tell you. So you can take that for what it's worth. But here's your results, and there's some great information on this. You can, when you go and do this, you can get my free report. It gives you a lot of information, but as you can see, and this is not uncommon in the automotive space. Mobile speed 33, desktop speed 37, and there's some great information about the importance of this as you go down the page. So the mobile friendliness of the site. Your site is mobile friendly, as you can see. It forms well to a mobile phone and delivers a good experience there. 98 out of 100. This is where you really get hurt. Mobile speed score is poor. So the key stat is right here that Google gives you. Nearly half of all visitors will leave a mobile site if the pages don't load within 3 seconds. The slower your site is, the sooner they're going to click out and bail on it. So this is looking at ChevroletEverett.com. In fairness to showroom, like I said, I'm not going after anybody in this. Let me go back a page here, and I believe it was Cars something like that. Chevrolet of Everett. Yeah. You go get a.
By having a separate landing page, that's slowing us down.
Well, I did the speed test on your primary website, but you're not sending your ads to that website. You're sending them to the landing page. So when you give showroom a fair shake at that. So is this the right URL for where they're landing?
Correct.
Okay. We'll test this one as well. And so while this is running here, the relevance of that speed is key, because if people get to the site and they bail before it finishes loading, Google sees that as a quick bounce. So you can see it's improved 44 and 55 versus, I think, 33 and 37. But again, Google's giving you a rating of poor on this. So I'm going to do a quick screen grab of this one and slap it into our tool here as well. Oops.
So would it be better not having that landing site and directing the traffic, all the traffic, to our original?
Well, no. In this case, this landing page is actually outperforming your primary site from a speed perspective. So I'd call it the lesser of two evils, what you're doing right now. But there's obviously a reason why I'm showing it to you, and I'll show you that in a second. In fact, since we're live, I'm just going to do the same thing with one of our dealers' sites here, so you can see the live result. I don't want you to see the PowerPoint version and think I'm that guy. So, like I said, we do the same thing with we like to put offers or specials, and sometimes we use subdomains, but ParagonHonda.com would be this dealership's primary site. Paragon Honda Offers is the site that we land all of our traffic on, and direct mail, email, digital, you name it. So we'll go live here and pull one of our dealers up as well. And the key here, so that as I was saying before, that bad speed result comes back and delivers bad information to Google. It says, the experience here is bad. They drop your quality score as a result, and your cost per click to get that same click just goes up as a result of the consumer's experience. So you can see Paragon Honda, the offer site that we land everybody on, mobile friendly, great on mobile speed and desktop speed. We've built our entire platform around the fact that the bulk of the traffic is coming from mobile consumers now. So it's key to have those types of results on your site. So that was it for running through this tool that we built, other than a little checklist we put together to go through some of what we went through. So we didn't talk much. Let me actually pull that back up here. Test my ads with Google. We didn't talk much about Google's new expanded text ad format. And what's important about that is they increased the amount of space you have because they got rid of the whole right-hand rail a little while ago. So let's go back to Chevrolet Silverado. And you'll see here, this is an expanded text ad. Lee Johnson, this might not be an expanded text ad. So you can tell it's a matter of 120 characters and 80 characters and 80 characters. A lot of character changes have been made on what can show up. But you can tell, for example, Chaplin's here is likely that they're not taking advantage of the expanded text ad format. They could be doing as much as Chevy is up here with all the detail and everything you have to say. And it's really a matter of which one would you click on? Which is a more relevant ad? Is it Roy Robbins' ad that's 2017 Chevy Silverado? It's at least telling you about models and about the trucks, or would you click on Chaplin's that says you can find your next car here, stop by today for a test drive? It's going to tell you that on Sunday too, and I don't know if you guys are a blue wall state or not, but if you're closed on Sunday, it's going to tell you to stop by today. So that relevance is crucial. And so your ad, let's see, we didn't show up at the top, Chevrolet Everett. So
maybe you can answer this, maybe you can't answer this, but we just switched websites to the new platform for Cobalt, and none of the other dealers are on the new platform. So we've gone to a completely new desktop, mobile platform that's been out about a month, and we've had nothing but corrections. None of the other dealers in the area have this platform. Could that be hurting us? Because when I looked at the performance, Cobalt will give you a report. They said we had the #2 website in February. Well, in March, we launched this. Are we losing traction?
It's hard to say. There's a lot of things that go into it. I don't want to tell you that the speed is the dictator of everything. You can tell that this site is heavily focused around mobile because, just the format. It's like everything that's on here is big and stretched out. And I know when I minimize my browser here, it's all going to shrink nicely. Yeah, no surprise there. So they've built it to be very mobile friendly from that perspective. And I'll tell you what, it's a little annoying that some of the website vendors do this. And I don't know if your vendor will or not, but a lot of times people are going to blame it on things like this. Just need help, like on the chats and things like that, and these third-party plugins. And they're right. These third-party plugins are a component that slows the site down. But honestly, I think chat's a good feature to have, and I'd recommend that they build it themselves if it's slowing their sites down. So at the end, I don't know, ad choices. I don't know if that's a third-party plugin or. So there's a lot of stuff that could be going on, but if this is their newest, greatest, best thing going, it's scoring a 33 on Google's speed test. And I'll leave it at that. You saw the Google result there. It says what happens when you have a slow site is you get people that leave. Maybe bounce rate might be a decent indicator to look at if you can compare the old to the new. But bounce rate is a really tricky stat that can be misleading as well, because somebody could land on your page, see exactly what they want with a $189 a month lease that I just saw there, call the number on the top of your screen, come in, buy the car, and if they close that browser without ever doing anything else, Google's going to call that a bounce. So you got to be a little careful there, but it would be worth diving into. I'd be happy, after this webinar, if you wanted me to poke around some of the additional stats just to have a look. I'd be happy to do that as well. I used to run a pair of website companies in the industry and have plenty of familiarity with the website space as well. So it's worth looking at. Look at your leads, look at your phone call. At the end of the day, you want people calling your store. If your phone calls are down, you've made a bad change. If your phone calls are up, you at least made progress.
Leads are up.
Yeah, so I mean, now, if you look from February to March, you might want to look at traffic. That's actually a great thing that Google, I think what Google.com has is search volume trends. So don't get tricked by leads being up in a month where searches are up by 20% also. So it's important. It's tough. You got to look at a lot of stuff. That's why you got to make sure you're working with somebody legitimate. And I mean, showrooms on the Elite and Premier partner, they're legitimate, but you can still poke at them and Cobalt and CDK and everybody on the website side of things. Everybody's got room to do things better, so poke them. It's hard to tell. I've only seen the one ad that we saw show up. I'm going to give you credit for expanded text ads only because I think showroom's doing them. You did have ads for your dealership name. We saw ads for the Silverado, but we did not see ads for the Colorado. For example, we could go back and do other searches for other ones as well. This is just a checkbox. You can do with it what you please at the end. We did not see information on payments, etc. We just saw requests to come into the store on your ads. No lease payments, OEM promotions. This is all kind of the same thing. Pre-owned inventory we didn't see. We did not see a paid ad for your oil change service. We did see organic. And generally speaking, when you were showing up, it was below position 1, 2, and 3. So I'm going to save this, and like I said, I can shoot this over to you. Of course, I got an error on my own thing. Oh, probably because I didn't populate. Give me 1 second here. What's your role at the store?
General manager.
All right, and I'm going to put my email address in for right now so that you don't get peppered by our friends listening in from the phone there. So this is going to generate a PDF that I can send over to you and go into the details on. So I'm going to go back over to my PowerPoint here now and kind of go into the reasoning for us drilling into some of this stuff. So let's start back right up in here with quality score. Oops. There we go. And hopefully everybody can see. So at the end of the day, this is what really matters, is your cost per click. And I've argued against that in the past and saying, well, you know what, quality score is all that really matters because it drives cost per click and click-through rates is a component of the quality score, and I can talk in circles around this all day long. But at the end of the day, it really all boils down to if you've got approximately $5,000 in spend, then how many clicks you get, which is ultimately your leads and your traffic, boils down to how much that click costs. So these are our numbers. Google comes in and does a quarterly business review with every one of the vendors that's a Premier partner. We recommend that you ask Google, or not Google. Google won't give it to you. You got to go to your vendors and say, I'd like to see your Google and Bing quarterly business review results comparing you to the competition. And they're going to get data points. We're not allowed to show that exact information, but we were blessed a little while back here with the ability to show our information versus the rest of the Google channel AutoSuccess partners. You can see there's a source from Google. Our average cost per click is $2.50 with a click-through rate of 7.2, average position 2.2. We're not trying to buy position 1. It's overpriced. You don't need to be there. The rest of the industry, on average, comes in at $2.94 click with a 4.2% click-through rate. And you can see why. The click-through rates are going to be low because the industry is delivering just poor ads. The ads that we deliver, and let me just go I'm going to go back and go live again here for you in Google Ad Preview, and I'm going to go just locally here to our neck of the woods and show you some stuff. We have a dealer, obviously, in our area here. We've got a Honda dealer named Joyce Coons Honda is one of the dealers that we work with here. So let's just take a Honda Accord, for example, 2017 Honda Accord. Same type of search we did before. And you'll see Honda, number one, no different than we saw Chevrolet. I'm going to skip the ad we're doing for a second here to go show what everybody else is doing. So Fairfax Honda, actually a great Honda store. They would like you to get your quick price quote here. That's exciting. This is the difference. This is what drives a $2.94 click and a $2.50 click. We searched for a 2017 Honda Accord. Well, new 2017 Honda Accords, $119.54 a month, 36-month lease. You can buy it for $334.98 a month on a 72-month finance payment. There's $25.27 off of MSRP, and this offer expires May 1st, 2017, and there's 9 of these Accords in stock in that particular trim. The Accord has a remote engine start, Apple CarPlay, Honda Lane Watch, 32 highway miles per gallon, and these are the trims of the Accord. We'd love for it to say trims instead of models, but Google doesn't have a trims component. This is the difference, and this is what drives it. This is a relevant ad to the search. If we put lease in, the ads change. We deliver you a lease ad in that case. Joyce Kuhn's Honda right here. Now all of a sudden we're talking more about the dealership, talking about the lease, and the only payment information we provided is the lease payment. Again, with all the same detail about that vehicle. So it's critical to get this information. Now, we'll actually show 0% APR if it's 0%. If it's 2.9% or less, we'll show the APR. If it's 0 down, we'll show 0 down on those vehicles. You can see here in this case, it's more than 1,000 off of MSRP. So the logic is being written in a way to deliver a relevant ad. That relevant ad is what drives quality score. So to hop back over to my deck real quick here. Let's go into live mode. Quality score is critical here. So the components of quality score are things like, they're all about the customer's experience. It's the speed of the site, it's your bounce rates, it's the landing page experience, it's all kinds of stuff that goes into delivering the best experience for the consumer. And here's where it matters. So you can see in this, we tried to simplify this and got some of this from some other vendors in the space. But you can see the maximum bid here. So advertiser 1 is willing to spend $3 on their click. And you can see 4, and advertiser 4 at the bottom here is willing to spend $6 on their click. So it's not a matter of buying your way to the top. The way it works, and this is kind of a raw math and try to simplify what Google's doing. But if you take and you gather an ad rank by multiplying your max bid times the quality score of your, and quality score is a keyword by keyword measurement. So on the keywords we searched, a quality score of 10 with a max bid of 3 gets you an ad rank of 30. This dictates the order in which you show up. So position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4. What you actually pay is a whole separate ball of wax. So the person who's at top of position 1 here is actually paying less than everybody else in this case. The way you get to that math is taking the, you can see here, ad rank of the advertiser below you, so 24, dividing it by your quality score, 10 in this case, if you're advertiser 1, plus a penny. The whole concept of everything costs at least 1 penny more than the guy below you. So that's how you get to the $2.41 cost per click. So this quality score, which again is driven by the relevance of your ad, is crucial for delivering a low CPC. At the end of the day, all the math just funnels down. So if you're spending, let's just say you spent $2,410 for easy math here, then you know how many clicks you're getting on $2,410 at $2.41 a click. Well, guess what? That click has a closing rate or a lead ratio on your website, regardless of what the cost per click was, and that lead ratio then has a closing ratio on your end. So at the end of the day, if you increase your clicks by 10% by decreasing your CPC, you're increasing your leads by 10%, and you're increasing your closing by 10%. It's all just straight math, and that's why it boils down to CPC at the end of the day. So that's why we focus so heavily on the relevance of the ad. This is just another quick slide that shows the impact on quality score and what it can do to your cost per click by going up or down. 5 is actually the average quality score in the industry. And you can see as you improve to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, your CPCs start getting discounted. Google is essentially rewarding you for a relevant ad because people will want to come back to Google again and do that search. So hugely important. I'm not going to go through all the details on here, but at the end of the day, It's relevance, the speed, and everything that drives that CPC down. Another component that really delivers results is the bid and budget management systems. Some vendors have them, some vendors don't. It's a little surprising to me, but our system is updating every one of our dealers' ads every 30 minutes. It's looking at what's going on in the market. So, for example, there's going to be a lot of you on the phone out there that are gone at the middle of the day. You know, your ads disappear, and you get all fired up, and you call your vendor, and they say, "Oh, you got to spend more money." Well, that's one way, but the other way to do it is to have a system that's actually monitoring the search engines at the time and has a sense for the supply and demand going on. So if there's a ton of searches going on and that demand is up, the supply really doesn't change unless people are running out of money. So that demand goes up, and if everybody's at the beginning of the day, they all have their money, everybody's bidding high, and all of a sudden your CPCs start going through the roof. That's when we pull out. We don't need to be competing for that click. You don't have enough money to get every click during the day anyway. So we're going to get out of, let's say, that $5 click that everybody's competing with at that time, and we're going to hold off until later in the day or until everybody else is out of money or it's not quite as demanding at that time to get 2 of those clicks, say, at $2.50. So again, remember what that can do, and realistically it's not going to double. But let's say it goes from $3 to $2 and you save $1. So on 2 searches, you get an extra search out of it. If you can increase your search volume like that by 50%, your leads will go up 50% and your sales will go up 50%. So I'm not telling you we're going to increase your sales by 50%, but it's a math equation that drives all this. So that's a crucial component of that is having a system that's managing the money well. And the other component, this part drives me nuts as well in the industry, is swimming in the pool. So the picture on the left is what a lot of people do. Everybody's in the shallow end. There's a billion people in there. They're all playing around, as you saw. Your brand campaigns show up, geo campaigns. These are real cheap clicks because there's not a lot of competition for your brand name. And everybody does this well. They'll say, oh, yeah, well, we have $1 CPCs. We're the best in the industry. Yeah, everybody's got cheap CPCs over in the brand campaigns. If you don't, then you're in a world of hurt. What matters is what I just showed you over in Google Ad Preview, the deep end of the pool, swimming with the sharks, and really getting into it. So when it comes down to somebody searching for, in your case, a Chevy Silverado, what happens? If you're trying to go out there and win the Silverado market and your ad's at the bottom of the page, or it says, you know, whatever that poor ad for Fairfax Honda was. Let's go back to that little gem. Oh, I changed it to lease, but their service is open Sundays, just in case you were wondering. I searched for a lease, but part of what they're telling me is their service is open on Sundays. So here, I'll give you an even better one. For your Honda dealers that are out there on the phone, I dare you to search for your HRV and wonder why you don't sell as many. So Honda's got one, HRV. So Fairfax Honda delivered a good result there. One thing you're going to see a lot of is CRV results when you do these HRV searches, because for some reason they're just matching on RV. Browse huge inventory. AutoNation, huge, great. This is where my wife bought her car. You can visit them now. This is the kind of stuff that's out there and why it's negatively impacting. So to compete and play in this space, you've got to deliver ads like this on the HRV. You know, buy for $248.94 a month, 72 months. When it expires, how many are there? What are the models, etc. So I searched for an HRV. Why is Fairfax Honda telling me about an Accord, a Civic, and all kinds of other vehicles? So just good examples to poke around and see what's going on. Let me go back. So that's an important piece. This is why people talk about Google as a phone book, because a lot of people just play in this brand space. And there's a lot, you will get a lot of service calls and a lot of service clicks as a result of your brand campaign. If you want to get sales campaigns, swim the deep end of the pool. Run lease ads, run model ads. Your cost per click's higher there. It's a more competitive space. It's more difficult to deliver a great result and get a good click-through rate on those kinds of things. So that's an important component of what we really pitch. I want to show you how that's done and how you serve an ad on a Colorado effectively, and how we do it in particular. I'm going to hop over into our platform is called Apollo, and let's see where we are on time. So we're getting low on time, so I'm going to do the short version of this. But you got to have the dealer's data. You can't have good ads that have prices on every single model without having the dealer's data. Short version on this, in our system here, we download your data every night. Perfect prospect maps, we analyze every transaction you have. We look at every zip code, where the competitors are, and all this stuff is calculated for us. It shows us your cost in each market or each zip code to advertise in that market, etc. And we map this stuff on a daily basis and use it to drive our ads. So you can see Paragon Honda. If you can't go with a big circle, type of marketing, you end up here in Connecticut, you end up in Jersey, you end up in Mass, you're all over the place. You end up probably in Pennsylvania as well. So you got to get targeted. You got to get into the weeds on this data. So on every zip code, we see the information. There's a 14-to-1 ROI on every dollar spent in that zip code because there's 203 sales that happened in the last year. 481 service transactions with the cost of 3,839 Honda owners in that zip code. And you got to be able to see that data on every single vehicle. So we write our ads accordingly. So you can see the heat map on sales in this particular market. And so you've got to target that. If you just go with the zip code radius around there, you're going to be hitting Manhattan. You're going to be all over the place that just does not perform as well. So having that data is crucial. The other component of that is it drives your trade patterns. So you can see on our upgrade matrix, we know the trade patterns on every vehicle that your dealership has brought in. You can't do this without it. So the CRV is the most popular traded vehicle at Paragon Honda, and guess what? 73% of the people buy a CRV again, and then 9% of the people buy a Pilot, and then 4% in the Accord, and then 4% in the HRV. So you've got to be able to, you should be advertising this. If you search for a fit, or if you're a fit owner, and you're sending a piece of mail or an email, why would you send a piece of mail with an Accord, a Civic, and a CRV on it when the fit, the CRV, and the HRV represent whatever that is, 75, 80% of the information. So you got to have that trade pattern to know what to do and to know what to advertise. And then with that, it allows you to go and generate an ad on every vehicle. So our system pulls in all the incentives nightly, uses all your dealer cash, lease cash incentives from the manufacturer and everything to configure each and every payment on every single vehicle. But I'm not going to go in. I don't want to violate anything with Paragon here to show you how they're pricing their vehicles. But you can price every single vehicle through our system every night. As a result, the ads that get written go behind the scenes here a little bit. Let's go to those new model campaigns I was talking about, swimming in the deep end of the pool. So we can preview on our end. We write the ad for every model that Paragon Honda sells and every dealership in the country on every brand every night with whatever changes. And this is what drives the relevance. So Civic, CRVs, Fits, Odysseys, Accords, you name it, Civic hatchbacks, Pilots, Ridgelines, every single one. And like I said, if you're over 1,000 off MSRP, shows up in the ad. I don't know if they've done any 0%ers or less, any 0 downs, etc. But it all automatically gets built into the ad. So as you can see, we change the ad as it's written. Each type of ad has a different component to it. If we go into a lease, it's a whole different ball of wax. The entire ad changes, not just generic keywords. So the detail that goes into this and being able to write these every night that specific is really the differentiator and what drives those results and those CPCs. Let me go right back down here into my PowerPoint. And so I gave you a quick hitter. I've got the last thing I have here is a quick video that I'm going to play at the end, but I know we're getting a little over the allotted time. So if anybody's out there has any questions, you guys at Everett have any other questions or any feedback, love to answer anything right now. Otherwise, I'll hit you guys with a quick video that tells you a little bit about what it is we do, how we do it, gives you a little bit more detail in a much prettier bow than my voice. Go ahead.
Actually, we've got a couple of questions here for you. What is the best practice to prevent our sales team from ruining our Google quality score by searching our name?
You got to educate them. That's one thing to do is educate them to use that ad preview tool. there's no real way to, unless your sysadmin blocks Google from the dealership, there's no real good way to do that. You can't do any IP address blocking, but you got to educate them on it and just tell them, use the ad preview tool. One good way off the top of my head, put it as a favorite. You saw my buffalo chicken cheese balls and my favorites there. Put it as a favorite on your desktop or on the browser so they go to that instead of going to Google. And make sure Google.com is not the homepage. I have a bad feeling it's probably the homepage for a lot of dealerships just to make it more convenient, but you're conveniently costing yourself money.
Okay.
What else you got, Brian?
Ask our vendor for, here we go. What do we ask our vendor for Google Quarterly? Is that?
It's the quarterly business review. So we are allowed to send you that information if you directly reach out to us and request it. We are allowed to send you that competitive information. I can't just pull it up on the screen here. Google is great at playing Switzerland. Bing is the same way. They don't want us, ruffling too many feathers out there. But if you reach out to us specifically asking for our quarterly business review metrics, and the two things you want to see, primarily are your click-through rate, which is going to tell you how relevant the ads are, and your cost per click. And just ask them, say, I want to see how, in this case, you're working with Showroom over there at Everett, say, I'd like to see the comparison of Showroom Logic to the rest of the industry on cost per click and click-through rate from your quarterly business review. If they backpedal, they have it. Don't accept no for an answer. If they don't have it for some reason, tell your sales rep to get with their head of digital, and they'll get it for you.
Okay. What is a good cost per click?
Oh, that's a loaded question. I've got a feeling that's from one of our sales reps out there just trying to catch me on something. So good cost per click. I'll go back to earlier in my slides. These are the averages. This was this Q3. These are the averages from the automotive space for all of those channel sales partners. The 15 Google channel sales partners that I mentioned before average 294. That's across the country. That is brand campaigns, model campaigns, lease campaigns, everything's blended together. Same thing with us, exact same data points, and we were at $2.50. If you go fully blended with somebody who is swimming in the deep end of the pool, you get below that 275 mark, and you're obviously saving a bunch of money versus the norm. We obviously recommend being with us. Now, your brand impacts that. Your market impacts that. It's a supply and demand component. If you're one of the brands that Chevy is going after, Chevy is buying everything right now. They're jacking prices way up. They're even competing against the dealerships in some cases for their own names. And while I'm answering questions, I'll go back and see if that's happening for our guys over here at Everett. But it's a loaded question. But if you look at it blended, then you can use our 250 watermark as a decent number to start with.
Okay. How frequently should we check Google ad previews for our ads?
You can get a good sense of what's happening if you just look in AdWords. And maybe in a second here I can sign in to AdWords and just show you what to look for. There's a couple of good things. But, a good thing to do would be to check at the beginning of the day, see what shows up for you at the beginning of the day. Then see what shows up at the end of the day. That'll tell you what kind of bid strategy they have. If you're not showing up at the end of the day, it's likely there's no bid and budget management system, monitoring and keeping your money the rest of the day. Now, it might also be that you just need to spend more money as well. But another thing to do then is look at the beginning of the month, look at the end of the month. Some of the vendors and some people out there, they'll spend your money every day from starting at the beginning of the month, and if you run out of money, you won't have any at the end of the month when, leads tend to close at a higher percentage. So I'd say look at the beginning of the month and the end of the month, maybe throw one in the middle, looking at the beginning of the day, the middle of the day, at the end of the day. So, that might be 6 searches over the course of the month just to give yourself a decent litmus test and not spending all day on it. I completely forgot what I was going to go look at, but I remember. All right. What else? What other questions?
Well, at this time, that's all the questions that we have right now. Did you want to show everybody that video?
Yeah, I'd love to. I just wanted to see real quick. All right, so Chevy's backed off of buying everybody's names. That was something that was going on for a little while. They were really jacking up some of the CPCs as a result. But yeah, let's give you a little video to end it, and I appreciate everybody's time that was on the phone today and hung in there. And feel free to reach out real quick. Here's my contact info, jhi@teamvelocitymarketing.com. You can reach out to anybody in our company. There's my cell phone number as well. Anybody feel free to call. Hopefully the competitors aren't out there jotting this down to call me in the middle of the night. I have 3 kids. Please don't do that. But real quick, I'll end with the video, and thank you all very much for your time today.
Did you know that on average, 50% of your customers will change brands on their next vehicle purchase? And did you know that 75% of Americans now move at least once every 5 years? It's harder than ever for dealerships to keep up with the changes. But the right technology can save you thousands of wasted dollars and dramatically improve your results by removing the waste and only targeting your perfect prospects with the right offers at the right time. Here's a quick overview on how our Apollo technology platform works. First, we define your perfect market where you have the best chance of winning the most business for the lowest cost. Each zip code is automatically and scored by factors like the number of active customers, your market share, distance, and cost per sale. So we can assign an overall marketing score to each zip code. From there, we can bid up certain types of marketing, like digital ads, to make sure you always have wins in your perfect market. Second, we identify your perfect prospects that are ownership verified and statistically most likely to buy or service with you in the next 90 days. Equity, open loans, leases, and service activity are all factored into defining your perfect prospect, and we update your marketing dashboard every night with fresh lists for email, mail, Google, Bing, and Facebook. Third, we develop a custom upgrade matrix for each prospect that predicts the next make, model, and trim they are most likely to buy. We do this by analyzing thousands of sales transactions involving the vehicles your customers traded and purchased. Apollo can predict with 90% accuracy the consumer's exact upgrade model based on sales patterns of the other owners who traded those same models at your dealership. Or we use automated payment technology to create custom lease, finance, and rate offers for every model and trim you sell. These offers are automatically included in the upgrade matrix, so the prospects are receiving relevant offers on the vehicles they are most likely to purchase. The best part is the offers are real and include every OEM incentive, rebate, dealer cash, and of course, your desired selling price. Even better, they are automatically updated every time you or your OEM changes anything. Finally, Apollo automatically creates dated OEM-compliant offers that include their most likely upgrade model and custom sales and service offers. We distribute these offers through every advertising medium, like email, mail, personal portal, Google, Bing, Facebook, and our point-of sale technology for when your best sales prospects are in your service department. All your inbound leads and calls are automatically placed right on your opportunity dashboard and cross-referenced against their sales and service history, equity, and activity. We generate beautiful side-by-side comparisons that can be emailed, printed, or presented on a mobile device. If you prefer, you can send all this information right into your CRM with one click. And when you need to know what's working, we provide you with daily, weekly, and monthly summary reports on every aspect of your marketing strategy. So let Apollo save you money by eliminating the expensive waste and improve your marketing by generating the most dynamic and relevant campaigns available in the industry.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I appreciate the time today. Again, feel free to reach out with any questions. Happy to dive in and answer anything or go through a specific, I think, with Google review like we did today for any of your stores. Thank you very much.
Hey, everybody. This is Brian Ankney with AutoSuccess Magazine. I'd like to thank Joe for taking the time to share this with us today, and I'd like to thank you all for joining us. If there's someone else in your dealership that you would like to see this presentation, we have recorded it, and you're all going to get an email from me in the next day thanking you for coming. And if you would like, just reply, and I can get you in touch with Joe, and he can share with you the recording. Please, join AutoSuccess webinars on Facebook, and please join us for a future AutoSuccess webinar. Have a great afternoon, everybody. Goodbye.
Have a spectacular day.